Jai Gurudev. Today we will continue reading book Problems of Today, Solution for Tomorrow, written by Pandit Shriram Sharma Acharya. Chapter 7, Appearance of God-Man. Who will bring about so many changes? How will it happen? What will be the medium for transformation of hell into heaven? How will it be possible to plan and implement the scheme? A large number of such puzzling questions cross the minds. It is quite natural since the task appears impossible, like attempting to level the mountains and filling the sea. However, believers in the omnipotence of God have no reason to doubt. In the darkest of dark night, when it is difficult even to see one's own hand, does one doubt that soon there is going to be a dawn followed by day and thereafter a noon with a blazing sun? This is how something apparently impossible becomes possible. When we witness numerous such miracles of nature each day, why should we underestimate its capacity to change an undesirable circumstances into favorable ones? Do we not see a microscopic human sperm change into a lively child within a few days and then into a healthy adult thereafter? Nature's infinite capacity to bring about any utilitarian changes should never be disbelieved. This world has seen many changes of time for good and bad. A revival of the golden age of humanity, that is Satyug, is in accordance with the law of nature. Whereas man cannot create an ant, God is ever busy in creating innumerable living species of various size, shape, and nature on this very planet. At least devout persons have no reason to overcome this reality. The forthcoming dawn of golden age is not being planned by some particular individual. It is the determined will of the Almighty. Nature has begun to create an appropriate atmosphere for the change. Lucky are those who will see this great transformation in their lifetime. Those who accept the challenge of time and make their contribution to the great cause will get the same credit which Angad, Hanuman, Nal Nil, etc. got. These days, an invisible supernova is gradually developing the Earth. The powerful energy field of this superstar will energize the empathic capacity of persons with sentiment consciousness. Their inner consciousness will force them to plug into action in the great scheme of establishing a new world order. Outwardly, community of this God-man may appear to belong to the lower strata of society. Bears and ape had participated with Lord Rama in his holy war against the demon Ravana, but they will perform stupendous feats capable of changing impossible to possibilities. Believers know that with the grace of God, no task in this world remains impossible. When working for a divine cause, intellectual as well as a common man are bestowed with tremendous supernatural power and energy. To quote some instances from the great epic Ramayana, and all virtues like Jatayu had suddenly gathered enough courage to confront Ravana, who was the greatest warrior of his time. Similarly, a squirrel was inspired in its faith to contribute a little mite in bridging the ocean for Lord Rama. The poorest of the poor, Shabri, was so much moved by the arrival of Lord Ram to her hut that she thought it fit to offer her petty collection of berries to him. Did poor Sudama hesitate while offering his handful of rice to Lord Krishna as a gift? When divinity needs human contribution, its invisible field of inspiration pervading entire universe make kings like Harishchandra who sell their kingdoms, their children, wives, and even their own self. When inspired by God, one cannot refrain from contributing one's best to the idols. The foregoing are only a few instances of the invisible energy field of the great architect Mahakal. It is not visible to human eye but does not permit an individual with sentiment consciousness to sleep in the crucial hour of need. They are unable to contain themselves from doing something noteworthy. A group of such individuals is soon going to assemble and wage a decisive war against the undesirable elements. They will succeed in erecting the marvelous superstructure of the New World Order, which the entire human community will watch with awe and admiration. The socio-economic environment, now plunging down in the dark abyss of degradation, will soon soar to great heights like a satellite fired from a launching pad and begin to encircle the earth in a predetermined orbit. The beginning of this era will be the harbinger of two messages. One, purify yourself, and two, promote the idols. The two prompt activities of destruction and creation will now gain great momentum, moving forward with a great force, toppling irrelevant hillocks of undesirable elements and filling deep rift of incongruities of the society. In the resilient social structure, which will be marked by equality for all human beings, it will be possible to sow the seeds of fragrant love, happiness, and prosperity for the entire humanity. Enlightenment of this era will descend on the earth like the appearance of the Ganga and envelop the entire planet with an incredible speed like incarnation of Matsya Avatar. Its field of action will be unlimited. Its area of influence will include the entire expansion of land, water, and space. What will ultimately happen? There is a straight answer. Transformation in human thought process, emergence of sympathy and fellow feeling, filled with compassion in each human soul, manifestation of self restraint, mental and physical discipline in each human being, and idealistic enthusiasm and bravery in action and behavior. Just this much of reformation will be sufficient to alleviate the present suffering of humanity. With it, the demonic problems and adversities tormenting the entire humanity, like Sursa, Singaka, Tadka, and Surpanka, will gradually disappear. Besides, the divine power of creation, evaluation, and transformation are determined to provide a better environment to present day humanity than was available even in the golden age of the past Satyug. Being equipped with greater resources and intellectual capacity, mankind today deserves more betterment. Keeping in view the need of the modern world, Goddess Durga, reconstructing power of God, has not only agreed to appear again in a new form, but is also eager to do so. For the first time in human memory, God-men will coordinate to utilize their powers jointly for the common good. In the past, though engaged in pursuits of knowledge, creativity, and faith, they remained indifferent to the relevance of concordant efforts suitable to requirements of the modern society. They also did not pay much attention to freely spreading of superior knowledge in the areas of their influence. Now they have taken a decision to make amends for the mistake of the past and are planning to instill spirituality in each and every individual having courage. It appears that the universe superconsciousness, Vishvachetna, has taken a stock of all facts in totality which are necessary for establishment of the new world order and has incorporated them in the blueprint of its grand scheme. The indications are perceptible everywhere. The glow of appearing dawn can be seen all around. There is a singular ultrasonic call being given by nature to change for the better, change for everything. This would be the nature of time and destiny in the coming days. Men with least trace of compassion and sympathy alive in their soul will respond and act in conformity with this call. The transformation will begin from one's own self, thereafter, successively changing the family and neighborhood, it will ultimately envelop the society. In this way, the entire humanity will become aware and energized by the new world order of the great architect. Chapter 8: Wisdom versus Education. To earn a living, one needs numerous commodities. A variety of resources are to be gathered. Everyday problems are to be solved. But priority needs to be given to only one element. Breathing should continue. Life should be sustained. If this much is not done, that comes imminent. How long can one live in such a suffocating environment? It appears that man, society, and the world as a whole are confronted with numerous problems, solutions of which are challenge to humanity. Not a ray of hope is in sight in the darkness of despair. Neither advancement of science nor superintelligence of thinkers have succeeded in finding solution to these problems. Increase in crime rates, population explosion, fast deteriorating physical and mental health of common man, widespread pollution, poverty, illiteracy, and many such incongruities have become perpetual cause of worry and suffering for the mankind. The political field too is disappointing. Here there is a undisguised anarchy. During golden age of past, that is Satyug, messengers and high priests of religion had made their presence felt as a backbone of the society. Today, castes and exterior appearance are being praised and applauded. Duties have been pushed back in the background behind rights, which are being stretched and outbid. Numerous such disorders have been spoiling our entire social fabric. We are aware of the incongruities of the society but are totally perplexed. Who is going to mitigate this problem and how? It has to be repeatedly stressed and propagated that the reason for all disorder gripping the society is dearrangement of human consciousness, which has to be totally entangled in self illusion and bewilderment. Only one dictum is to be followed. thoughts, actions, and behavior must not belie human dignity. How then is it possible to contain narrow selfishness? Cooperation and generosity should be deeply ingrained in each and every human thought, and it should prominently reflect in behavior. Immediate gains should cease to get priority on far-sighted prudence. Independent thinking should take the place of hardline obstinacy. With adoption of such a level of balanced thinking, man is capable of transforming destruction into development or chaos in order, even with his present state of competence, resources, and expertise. Very soon, divinity is going to shower its grace of brilliance and superintelligence in abundance, as the consequences of which men will begin to find true solution to the problem and take correct steps to right directions. When righteousness and divinity begins to descend and dominate human personality, there is no reason to doubt about the emergence of new atmosphere of heavenly peace and prosperity on this planet, which will be comparable to the ancient golden age, that is Satyug. The relationship between education and wisdom may be explained with the help of parable, that is vidya, wisdom, and education, that is shiksha, where a princess and her maid servant respectively in some kingdom. In outer appearance, they were indistinguishable. Once they went for a picnic in the forest and decided to bathe in a pond. Before entering the water, they left their clothes on the bank. Shiksha finished her bath earlier and grabbed the opportunity to impersonate the princess by wearing her clothes. Shiksha went straight to the palace and informed that the princess had died and had become a witch, with the result that she now hides in any nook or corner and attacks persons known to her. She was able to convince people that she was speaking the truth. The plot was success. Since then, the naked princess was living in clandestine existence, hiding and wandering in the forest to safeguard her modesty. Wisdom, Vidya, is believed to be Amrit Varshini, the deity which showers nectar here as education, that is Siksha, merely provides bread and butter, Annapurna. The main objective of institutional education is to enhance the expertise for better earning capacity. Wisdom has altogether a different objective, and with it, the outcome is different. It builds and stimulates personality, activates talents, and establishes a link between perspective and high ideals. It makes the inner self fulfill responsive to feelings of compassion and generosity. Unfortunately, these days, significance of acquiring wisdom, which is a panacea for all the present evils, is not understood. It is being considered as irrelevant, unwanted, and even outmoded in modern context. This is, in fact, the basic cause of degradation and criminality of human behavior. This downfall is character as expected, has led to destructive tendency throughout the world. The great change is going to take place through resurrection of wisdom only. A forceful and a large scale propagation of wisdom is necessary for dispersing the darkness of ignorance on account of which mankind is unable to see objects and events in their true perspective and does not know how, from whom, and what type of cooperation is needed for happiness and prosperity. In the past, the situation was different. Then everyone appreciated the significance of literacy and the teachers, that are Purohits, and the taught had worked out a mutual beneficial arrangement. The enlightened teachers, that are Brahmins, followed strict austerity, because of which the token honorarium dan dakshina offered to them by the guardians of the student was sufficient for their thrifty and modest living. In those days, it was not felt necessary to formulate special projects or make detailed arrangements for giving education or spreading literacy. Responsibilities for imparting the rejuvenating wisdom, that is Sanjivani Vidya, was given to the wise men, that is Manishis, of the level of Rishi. For this purpose, deserving candidates were invited by them to their ashrams, gurukuls, and arnayakas. In this way, the students receive specialized training necessary for their development in an appropriate environment. For providing primary level education to the children, in each village, small and big devalayas, that is, worship cum teaching centers, used to function. In the pious environment of these temples, students completed their education. In those days, education was not directly related to livelihood. To earn a living, people depend on farming, cottage industries, commerce, and other such expertise. Some depended on their living on craftsmanship. Younger generation did not find any difficulty in earning livelihood according to their needs and efficiency. The age of wisdom or super wisdom, that is pragya, is approaching fast like tornado. Its objectives are predefined. It aims at vigorously stimulating each mind to think afresh. In the coming days, old concepts and beliefs, howsoever traditionally and accustomed, will be totally discarded. Instead, far-sighted prudence will prevail in human thinking all around, which will in fact become the guiding principle for the acceptance of propriety throughout the world. The superstructure of the new world order will be erected on the two pillars of prudence and propriety. In view of the direct need of changing environment, everyone will adopt this virtue willingly in spite of their having been newly implanted. The end of this book. Jai Gurudev.